Welcome to a flip through of my very large, very bulky, very heavy now first bullet journal for 2025. Let's take a look at the whole thing from cover to cover. Hi, I'm Erin, and this journal and I have been through a lot together. Just before we start to flip through, I thought I'd give you a mini review of the journal. So this is the Song Brocade journal from TIEFOSSI. That is how the binding has held up. You can see I've really thrown a lot at this journal. I don't know that it could take too much more because this last bunch of signatures down here, maybe the last two, are no longer attached to the spine part, but it doesn't feel like anything's about to fall apart. So I think we've done pretty well. The cover still looks so lovely. It almost still looks new. There isn't any kind of wear and tear on it to speak of at all. It is obviously quite bowed and bulgy now, but I'm okay with that. The elastic is really working hard. I pretty much never use the pen loop. I'm just not really a pen loop person. And it has kept its ribbon bookmark. It only had one and it's still going strong. It has really performed very well, so good job, little journal. Let's see what all the spreads look like after the pen. How much did I actually use the journal? We're about to find out. So just inside the cover here, I really enjoy decorating my nameplate page. Making it feel quite personalized is really fun to me. And I have my little, this is actually from the previous journal from the second half of last year, my grid spacing guide, which I keep forgetting about. I don't have a dedicated pouch for it in this one. And so I felt like I never really knew where this was. And then here it is, right in the front of the book. So I'm actually going to set that aside so I can put it in my new one because the page dimensions are exactly the same, so why not? I did this on a live stream with my channel members and it was really fun, so maybe we will do that again soon for the next journal. The TIEFOSSIs have this kind of double end sheet going on here where this is not a dotted page, it's just like an extra one. I don't know if all of their journals have that, but this one certainly does. And I had planned to make a whole mood board out of this. This is from the Notebook Therapy Tsuki Lucky Bag from last year. This was from a magazine or some junk mail or something, but this is as far as it got. So a lackluster happy 2025, I suppose. I included an index in this one and I have filled it out, but I never look at it. It's kind of just interesting to have, I guess. I don't know that I really need this in other journals going forward, but when you have this many pages, you might as well, right? My 2025 theme has held up really nicely. I'm glad that page is still intact. This color scheme has been really fun, but it does not feel like the right fit for the time of year I'm in now, which is kind of funny. I used the future log quite somewhat, which was really helpful. Always good to have something to flip back to and refer to when you're setting up a month in the future. Anywhere that is blacked out with these black post-its is just because I want to keep some information there private, so please use your imagination when you see those. This routine page, I have used it, but I found that this was less useful in the beginning of the journal as like an overall thing, and more useful as a month-to-month spread that I could adjust and change as I went through the year, because the whole routine thing is something I'm very much still working on. So having it here wasn't helpful, but having it in general really has been. My skincare tracker has been a fun one to fill out. I have pretty sensitive skin, so I need to be pretty careful about how I do things. I'm very consistent, clearly, with my vitamin C in the mornings, less consistent about the evening stuff. And my social media tracker over here, I fill that out on the first day of each new month. Sometimes though, I'm too lazy to go and get my journal and do it, so I just take notes in my phone and then fill it out later. And that system works well for me too. You can see this is a spread that gets a lot of use because it's covered in scratch. This is my content planner. All of this stuff should hopefully have gone up on the channel by the time you're seeing this. So no spoilers anymore. My future projects list is a little sad. Some of the things, I've covered them here because you don't need to know, but some of the things on my list I have not done. Probably most of them actually. The list goes down to not very far, but like here. I've done 2 of them. That's something. The monthly reset has been helpful though, so that's really useful. That's something I'd like to make sure that I'm paying more attention to in the second half of the year. The exercise tracker has been easy to fill out because I have a training log in my phone for when I do weights. My dance days generally don't change. I know those in advance. It's just the 10K steps that I kind of really need to pay attention to. And the bingo board, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've only filled out 5 things on it. One of them, where is it? See a musical down here in the bottom left? That one's happening very soon. This weekend, in fact. I have moved this over into the new journal, so it is ongoing for the rest of the year, but clearly I gotta get cracking. I haven't accomplished very many of those goals. I left myself some space here in case I thought of anything else I wanted to add to the journal, and then I didn't think of anything else I wanted to add to the journal, so we're into January. I was so exhausted starting this new year for 2025. I just didn't have it in me to do anything really complicated, so I tried to go simple. This is what me trying to go simple looks like. It ends up more and more complicated with each page turned. But this was my first instance of including the routine spread within the monthly setup in the journal, and it was so helpful. It really showed me that I have no idea what kind of routine might work for me, but that's, any knowledge is power, you know. I really do struggle with summer, and January is the middle of summer for us here in Australia, so I think that shows in how little I have reached for the journal. Like, it's looking pretty sparse, but when you're struggling, you're not planning that well, at least in my experience. It's a cute theme though. It did its job. It's not my favorite. I probably wouldn't do it again, but it got me through January and I'm grateful for that. In between each of my setups, I like to include some memory keeping things. So I was making over a cupboard at the time I set this up, and so I have my paint swatches over here, some photos from going roller skating with my friends, lots of Lunar New Year packets and Year of the Snake things going on here. And this is also just such a good way to use up like that one last sticker that you've got kicking around somewhere, or that bit of washi tape you didn't have room for. This was some wrapping that came on something, Cora Creative Crafts package, I think. And then we're into February. I love this theme. I was coming from a similar place when I set this up to the January theme, where I needed something really simple and quick because I didn't have the headspace to do anything more complicated than that. But I think this one turned out way better. I really enjoy this one so much more. And it feels summery and sweet, so it was perfect for the time of year. Something I'm noticing throughout this journal is I'm really not going for the habit tracker so much. I'm filling it out for like 1 or 2 things most months and ignoring the rest. I have been using my goals sections pretty well though, so that's nice. What this is telling me, I'm doing a bit of reflecting and working out what's coming with me into my next journal, what I need to tweak, what I can leave behind. And something I'm learning is that the content planner is a keeper, the routine spread is definitely a keeper, but I could stand to pare down that habit tracker quite a bit. I clearly am not wanting to track that many things, so I don't need to be setting up 6 spaces for it every month just in case. If you're ever stuck for what to do for a theme, I've said this so many times on the channel, but literally 2 or 3 solid washi tapes and a PET tape or a sticker that has colors that work well with those. Just layer those together and you're good to go. Literally like 1, 2, 3 washi tapes, sticker over the top, use the washis to ground the sticker or the PET tape or the washi tape or whatever it is, and off you go. Once again, with the Year of the Snake good times. I had a set that was themed around it from Sticky that I was like, when am I ever going to use this? So it was a great opportunity to get some of that onto the page. Also, look at Mitsu. He's so classy, and then he pulls a face like that. March. This one was a tie-in for a challenge that was hosted over in Jashi Corinne's Discord that was around having a celestial theme. So lots of people did celestial themes for March. I went vintage celestial, and then it was really funny. So did Jess, and she had clearly Googled the same thing as me to find a font because we used the same font, which I think is so funny. We did not plan that at all. It just kind of happened. I really like this theme though. I felt like, you know, things start to cool down. It's not summer anymore. Once again, she's only used 1 habit tracker out of 6, although the page looks nice. March is autumn for us in the Southern Hemisphere, or at least Australia just goes by like 3-month blocks for our seasons. We kind of ignore solstices and equinoxes and things. So, oh, I forgot the routine spread this month, didn't I? That's right. For some reason, it slipped my mind completely. So no routine spread in March, which is unfortunate because they've been really helping me. But I loved living in this theme so much for the little bit that I got to do it, because this was when Cyclone Alfred was threatening Brisbane and everything shut down for a bit. And then I got really, really sick. I believe it was my first run-in with COVID, and I'm still recovering. See how there's like almost nothing on this spread? I love how it looks though. It's so pretty. I should do a weekly like this again. I should take a photo of that so I remember. It's funny, you'll notice a change in the color of the accent pen here because I set these next couple of weeklies up at Stash Hangs, which is a stationery social night that I attend at a stationery store in the Valley. It's so much fun, but I forgot to take this Tombow with me. So I was using a pen borrowed from one of my friends instead. It was kind of like the closest match. So the vibes are a little different, but it still totally works. Much more pink, whereas this one is a little bit more neutral. And then we have some memory keeping. I tried to do a little tribute to Cyclone Alfred. This is my favorite. I think this picture from a sushi place that I walked past that had Cyclone Alfredo closed from the 6th to 7th due to Alfredo cyclone. Clearly I didn't respect it that much because I forgot the R when I was lettering its name and didn't care enough to do it again. Some of these memory keeping spreads don't get particularly so much love, while others get a lot, but they're always fun. April, I really enjoyed setting this theme up. This was in tribute to a little weekend away that my partner and I took at the end of the month. We visited the Blue Mountains in New South Wales, a little bit outside of Sydney, and the view is actually kind of similar to some of the views in the stickers that I've used, so that was really nice. This theme was actually Chris's suggestion. I was like, what should I do for April? And he said mountains, because we're going to the mountains. And I loved it. Something I have noticed that I've done every time and yet never given a heading for is I've set this up to be a morning and a weekly routine outline for what I'm trying to achieve for the month. And then I add an evening routine every time, but I don't give it its own heading. Why am I doing that? We're not doing that going forward. I've already done July, but from August onwards, this is going to be much more efficient. Likewise with the content planner. In the previous ones, I was just listing out what the video would be for each of these. This is my content planner for my YouTube channel, so I post on Tuesdays and Fridays, kind of. It's technically Wednesday morning, Saturday morning, 2 a.m. my time, but originally I was just listing out what each video would be, and maybe if there was a sponsorship attached to it, I would include that info here too, but I've started making it a checklist for each of the videos to see like if I'm on track to getting it ready in time. And that's really inefficient, so I think this could be better served by an Alistair method. It's so funny though that you don't always notice this stuff unless you zoom out and look through the journal and look for trends. Because this is something I've done consistently for months without realizing that there was a better way. So reflection is so important. I'm definitely more of a vertical oriented weekly kind of gal, so having these horizontal stickers as the main theme for this setup was really difficult, but I found my workarounds. We made it happen. Autumnal, but softly so, this theme, you know? I really like it. This is part of the reason this journal has ended up so thick, is because when I'm adding little memory keeping bits and pieces or junk journaling in between my monthly setups, the stuff I'm including is so often thick cardstock. This is cardstock that came with the Martha Brooke reading journal that I reviewed a while ago. This was packaging for a beautiful Bridgerton themed pillowcase that a friend gave me, which was just too gorgeous to throw away. And some leftover stickers from, this was the beginning of setting up the mystery journal. These are some leftovers that didn't get used in the April theme. Sometimes there'll be like one sticker left on a sheet that I'm like, well, you might as well just go in the junk journal spread. This is a little bit of memory keeping from our travels, and something that I was really excited about because we don't really get them in Brisbane is leaves that look autumnal, leaves that change colour. We really have just the evergreens around Brisbane, so I kept the little sleeve they give you your hotel keycard in, and I've just been keeping them in there. I'd love to stick them into the journal, but I don't know, that feels like, oh no, I'm already ruining them. It does feel like adding glue to these would compromise the leaves quite a bit, so I'm just going to keep them in the little pocket instead. And it was Easter, or it was just after Easter, so I've included an Easter egg wrapper there. Also, these aren't real leaves, but they sure do look like it. These ones are just stickers. Forever harvesting brochures and travel guides when we're out and about. Also, how good is this sticker? Back to Katoomba. I love it so much. I love Back to the Future, so when I saw that in a bookshop, I had to have it. Oh, May. Oh, I love this theme so much. A little bit out of character for me. I don't typically go so much on the browns, and I had browns kind of included in this theme as well, and then we did it again in May. The Paper Monogatari Dark Academia collection really carried me through this theme. Sometimes a package arrives from Anna from Paper Monogatari and she just saves me when I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do this month, and then that happens and I'm like, well, now I don't have to think about it. I can use this. It just felt so cozy hanging out in this theme. I used it quite a bit more. I've actually used 3.5 of my habit trackers plus one little circle in this one, so I was definitely vibing the journal a little bit more than I had been, starting to feel a little bit better through May, which was really nice. The energy levels and the brain fog this year have been something else. This is also my first time really trying to bring italic calligraphy into the journal. I recently took a Skillshare class on this to brush up. I did an in-person course to start learning italic calligraphy, and I had forgotten a lot, so I wish I'd watched that Skillshare class before I set this up, because I'm seeing some inconsistencies and I'm like, Erin, what were you doing? You weren't writing the correct size for the nib you were using, but that's okay. And clearly I got lazy when it got to some of these later weeklies. I think I set these ones up at stash hangs as well, and so they're pretty bare bones, but they did the job, and that's all they needed to do. Sometimes you just don't have the brain space, and that's okay. Clearly, also, these ones aren't super filled out, so either I was really busy or I wasn't feeling great. It's one of the two. It's so interesting to be able to leaf through 6 months of your life like this. Got a little postcard in here from lovely Courtney. Wait until you see September in the mystery journal. Courtney is my friend and my channel member, and when we were planning the themes, I planned out all of the themes for the second mystery journal for 2025 with my channel members. I was like, gosh, it would be good if I had some cat stickers, and Courtney said, I have cat stickers, I'll send them to you, and now they're in the mystery journal. What a sweetheart. This is the last monthly setup in this journal. You can see how bent the pages are starting to get, that curvature, you know, from being very, very full. This is Erin getting back to simplicity in a way that feels much more in touch with who she is. Why is she speaking in the third person? I don't know, but we're rolling with it. This PET tape is so bold and colourful. I just felt like too much with it would be too much, you know, so I tried to keep it pretty chill. My channel members helped me pick a colour to match with the tape to really pull everything together, and that just happened to match pretty well with this washi tape, which is from the Quirky Cup Collective. It's their Secret Admirer tape, and you can never go wrong with a script washi. This one is from Paper Monogatari, and it is my favorite. I think JOURNALSAY have a similar one too though. It's always a challenge when you've got really big elements like this to work out a way to make it all come together on the page, but I think I did pretty well. Of course, when they're this beautiful and this sparkly, you really want to give them a moment to shine, pardon the pun. So you have to be a bit careful that you're not taking up all of your page space with your pretty things and not leaving yourself enough room to actually plan. But I think I walked the line okay, because it was definitely still a functional setup. See what I mean about the content planner? This could be so streamlined, and I'm looking forward to doing that for August, but for July we're just going to have to stick with what I've been doing because I've already set it up. And we did a couple of weeklies on live stream as well, which was really fun. I hadn't been able to do those for a while because of my super depleted energy levels, but it was nice to be back. It's always fun to do things live with other people who love to journal, have a little creative party. When I'm setting up a journal for somebody else, like the mystery journal, and it's a 6-month journal, I'll try to include any extra little weeks here. So obviously Sunday the 29th, there is one more day in June that I have not included in this weekly, and I have not included in this journal, but it's okay because it's in the next one, if that makes sense. Whereas if this was for somebody else, I would not do that to them. I would give them the whole month. Just squeeze it in instead of notes or something like that, you know. Then we have our last couple of memory keeping pages, maybe some teasers for things coming soon. And here I've actually taken some time to reflect on flipping through this because I had a little look through so I could block out the stuff I didn't want you to see and really work out what I can change going into the next journal. And I do have some pages left over. There's a handful here. I'm not mad at that. I may use them for swatching or testing out new theme ideas. I might not use them at all. Either way, I'm okay with that because I have filled most of the journal. There's nothing in the back pocket. That is the tour of my first journal for 2025, and I'm pretty happy with how it all came together. I'm very happy with how the journal has handled all of that, and I hope you've enjoyed going on this little trip down memory lane for the last 6 months with me. This is really the only time I share my journal after the pen on the channel, but if you like seeing things all filled in, please let me know down in the comments, because maybe I can do a flip through once a month as a short or something to show you what the journal looked like after the fact. Just in case you're keen to keep watching, here is the new journal setup in my new journal for the second half of 2025. And just under that is July in my new journal as well. It's an Art Deco theme. It's very different to anything I've done before. Happy new journal season!